Seniors. Warning, stop taking these 3 vitamins. They are destroying your leg strength. Are your daily vitamins quietly making your legs weaker? That may sound hard to believe, but for many older adults, it's a hidden truth. Millions of people over 60 take supplements every morning with the hope of boosting energy, protecting the heart, or staying youthful. But what if some of those pills are doing more harm than good? What if that daily health ritual is the very thing robbing you of your strength, your balance, your independence? If standing up from a chair feels harder than it used to, if your legs feel shaky, or if stairs suddenly feel intimidating, it might not be just age. It could be something you never suspected. Because staying strong in later life isn't just about walking. It's about staying independent, preventing dangerous falls, and protecting the freedom to move as you've always known. So in today's video, we're going to uncover 4 common vitamins that may be silently stealing your leg strength, your nerve function, and your muscle power. And more importantly, what you can do right now to stay strong, steady, and confident at any age. Don't take another pill until you've seen what we're about to show you. Before we dive in, if you care about staying strong and independent as you age, don't forget to hit subscribe, give this video a like, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might help someone else. Rule 1. Vitamin E, the silent muscle destroyer. There's something important I want to tell you today. Something that most people, especially those in their later years, are never told clearly. And it's this. Not every vitamin that's marketed as healthy is truly helping you. In fact, some of them, when taken too much or too long, can quietly do more harm than good. One of the most common and underestimated examples is vitamin E. Now, I know you've probably heard all the good things about vitamin E, how it helps fight aging, supports your heart, protects your cells from damage. All of that is partly true. But here's the other side, the one rarely mentioned on supplement labels or morning health shows. Vitamin E, when taken in high doses or without medical guidance, can slowly disrupt your nerves and muscles. It doesn't strike suddenly. It erodes quietly. It doesn't make headlines. It makes people fall. Let me explain this as clearly as I would if you were sitting right in front of me. Vitamin E is what we call a fat-soluble vitamin. That means once you take it, your body doesn't just use what it needs and throw the rest away like it would with vitamin C or B complex. Instead, it stores the excess, mainly in your liver and in your body fat. So when you take too much every day, especially over months or years, it builds up. And that buildup can begin to affect the way your muscles and nerves work together. Inside your body, your brain sends tiny electrical signals through your nerves to tell your muscles when to move. Walk, stand, climb, turn. That entire system depends on your nerves firing properly and your muscles listening and responding. But when vitamin E accumulates in excess, it begins to disrupt that communication. The signals slow down. They get distorted. The muscles grow sluggish, even if they're not weak in strength. You might feel like your legs aren't keeping up with your mind anymore. You might stand up and feel a strange wobble. You might miss a step, not because you didn't see it, but because your legs hesitated. And for someone in their 60s, 70s, or beyond, that tiny moment of hesitation can be the start of a very big problem. This is not theoretical. It's not rare. I've seen it again and again, especially in patients who are active, who take their health seriously, and who follow the supplement trends they believe will keep them sharp and strong. The irony is heartbreaking. They're trying to prevent decline, but unknowingly speeding it up. And that's where the trouble begins. I remember a patient named Helen. Thoughtful, active, the kind of person who reads the fine print on everything. She came to me after nearly falling while gardening. Her legs had started feeling unreliable, she said. Not painful, just weak in a strange, unfamiliar way. No changes in medication, no recent illness. But she mentioned casually, started taking high-dose vitamin E for her memory, 800 IU every morning, for nearly a year. We stopped it right away. In just a few weeks, the heaviness in her legs began to ease. Her balance returned, her confidence followed. She hadn't lost her strength. Her body had simply been overwhelmed by something it didn't need. And this happens more often than most people know. That's why I'm telling you now. If you're over 60 and you're taking any kind of supplement, pause for a moment today. Go to your cabinet, read the labels, add up the numbers. If you're getting more than 200 IU of vitamin E a day from multiple sources, especially for long periods, you might be doing more harm than good. If you've noticed that your legs tire easily, that you've become more cautious walking through your own home, or that you hesitate before standing or stepping, it might not be your age speaking. It might be your nervous system, quietly overloaded by what seemed like a healthy choice. Ask your doctor, get your vitamin E levels checked. Focus on getting nutrients from food. Avocados, nuts, spinach, seeds, where the balance comes naturally. And remember, no supplement should ever replace listening to your body. What you think is protecting you may be quietly draining your strength. Sometimes, staying strong in older age doesn't mean doing more. It means doing less, but doing it wisely. Your body already knows how to take care of you. Don't drown it in too much of what it doesn't need, because the legs you stand on today are the foundation of your freedom tomorrow. 2. Vitamin A, a hidden cause of osteoporosis. There's a truth that slips beneath the surface of most conversations about aging. We think of bones as structures that weaken with time, as if age alone is what hollows them out. But the reality is more complicated, and sometimes more preventable. The strength of your bones isn't just about calcium or milk or how many stairs you climb each day. It's also about what you put into your body, believing it's helping you, when in fact, it might be silently carving away your foundation. That's where vitamin A comes in. Vitamin A is essential to life. It helps with vision, immunity, cell growth, even skin repair. But like many fat-soluble vitamins, those that linger in the body long after you swallow them, it must be handled with balance and care. Because in high doses, especially when taken over time, vitamin A doesn't nourish your bones. It breaks them down, quietly, without warning, and often without pain. The process is subtle. High levels of vitamin A interfere with the work of osteoblasts, the specialized cells responsible for building new bone, and at the same time accelerate the activity of osteoclasts, the cells that break bone down. Imagine a house being demolished faster than it's being rebuilt, day after day. At first, it still looks whole from the outside, but the structure weakens with each passing week. And what makes this especially dangerous is that it's often invisible until something breaks. Older adults are particularly vulnerable. Their bones are already more fragile. Their reserves of vitamin D and calcium may be low, and when they add daily capsules of vitamin A, especially from synthetic supplements, liver pills, or even certain fish oils, they may be slowly tipping the scales toward fracture without realizing it. What makes this even more heartbreaking is that people don't take vitamin A out of vanity or recklessness. They take it for vision, for immunity, for skin. They take it because someone told them it was natural. But not everything natural is gentle. Some things natural are strong, and strength, when misused, becomes damage. One of my patients, June, had always lived actively and independently. One morning, she fractured her hip stepping off a curb. No fall, no stumble, just a sharp pain and a trip to the emergency room. Her scans showed severe bone thinning, unexpected for someone who walked daily and ate well. The missing clue was in her supplement drawer. Liver capsules, rich in retinol, taken daily for over 2 years. Meant for skin and vitality, silent harm, hidden in routine. We stopped the pills, shifted her toward plant-based beta-carotene, monitored her recovery, and strengthened her bones with movement and nutrition. She healed, not just physically, but with a new understanding of how easily good intentions can mislead even the most careful of us. If you're over 60, this may be the moment to pause and ask, how much vitamin A am I really taking? It's not just about the pill labeled vitamin A. It's also in multivitamins, fortified cereals, liver products, fish liver oils, skin supplements, even anti-aging regimens. And unlike beta-carotene, which comes from plant-based sources and only converts to vitamin A as needed, preformed vitamin A, called retinol, accumulates quickly and relentlessly. The recommended daily intake for seniors is around 700 to 900 micrograms, or about 2,300 to 3,000 IU. But many over-the-counter products far exceed this. And when the excess goes unchecked, it settles into your liver, your tissues, your bones, where it waits in silence, until you miss a step. Until the bone snaps before the muscle even flexes. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can shift course today. check your labels. Look for retinol palmitate or retinol acetate, forms of vitamin A that are stored, not flushed. Be cautious with liver supplements. If you're taking a multivitamin, check how much vitamin A is already included before adding anything else. Choose your sources wisely. Beta-carotene from colorful vegetables is safe, flexible, and gentle. Your body takes only what it needs, discards the rest. That's the kind of wisdom you deserve. The kind built into nature and into your own biology. And talk to your doctor. If you've been taking vitamin A for years, especially in high doses, ask for a bone density scan. It's a simple test that could reveal what your body hasn't told you yet. 3. Vitamin B6, a hidden threat to your nerve health. The human body speaks in whispers before it screams, especially after 60. And one of the quietest, most easily misunderstood whispers is the gradual loss of sensation in the feet, the fingers, the legs, places that once felt solid and connected to the earth, but now feel like shadows of what they used to be. That fading, that tingling, that strange sense of, my legs don't quite belong to me anymore, is often brushed off as aging. But not all numbness is inevitable, and not all causes are natural. Some are man-made. Some come in capsules with good intentions. One of the least expected culprits is vitamin B6. That might surprise you. After all, vitamin B6, also known as pyridoxine, is a water-soluble vitamin, and the common belief is that water-soluble vitamins can't harm you. Whatever the body doesn't use, it flushes out, people say. That's true, up to a point. But like all rules, there are exceptions, and B6 is one of them. When taken in high doses, especially over a long period of time, vitamin B6 doesn't always get flushed. Instead, it can accumulate in nerve tissue, and when it does, it begins to interfere with the very structure of those nerves, particularly the peripheral nerves, which are responsible for sensation and movement in the arms, legs, hands, and feet. What begins as a harmless tingling soon becomes a troubling numbness. What feels like pins and needles after sitting too long eventually turns into a dull, distant sense of not quite feeling your feet touch the floor. Over time, this can affect balance, coordination, and even walking. Some people describe it as walking on cotton. Others say it feels like their shoes are filled with water. The medical term is peripheral neuropathy, but most people don't need the name to know something's not right. The real tragedy is that this kind of nerve damage from vitamin B6 is often caused not by poor health, but by the very effort to be healthy. High-dose B6 is promoted as a remedy for energy, mood, even carpal tunnel and PMS. It's found in energy drinks, sleep aids, multivitamins, and stress support blends. And most dangerously, it's often taken in combination. A multivitamin might have 10 milligrams. A memory supplement adds 50 milligrams more. A nerve support pill can push the daily intake past 100 milligrams without anyone noticing. The recommended daily allowance for adults over 50 is just 1.5 to 1.7 milligrams. Anything above 100 milligrams per day, especially over months or years, can cause sensory nerve damage. In some cases, even doses around 50 milligrams, taken regularly, can slowly wear down nerve function in people who are more sensitive. And unlike some vitamin side effects, which go away quickly, B6-induced neuropathy is slow to heal, and sometimes doesn't fully reverse at all. One of my patients, Mr. Raymond, 76, came in because he kept tripping. Not from dizziness, not from weakness, but from something he couldn't quite describe. His legs felt disconnected. He said, "It's like I'm walking, but my feet don't tell me what they're doing." After checking his supplements, we found the answer. He was unknowingly consuming over 150 milligrams of B6 daily through multiple pills. We stopped them immediately. Some sensation returned over the following months, but not all. He walks better now, but not without a cane, and a quiet regret for trusting the wrong advice too long. What hurt him wasn't neglect. It was too much care in the wrong direction. That's what I want to save you from. If you're over 60 and you've been taking supplements for energy, memory, or nerve health, please check the labels. Look closely at the amount of vitamin B6. If you're taking more than 50 milligrams per day regularly, stop and reassess. If you're experiencing tingling, numbness, or a strange walking on clouds feeling, don't assume it's age. Bring it up. Talk to your doctor. Ask for a basic neurological exam. It takes minutes and could prevent years of uncertainty. And if you're already struggling with unexplained balance issues or sensory changes, Don't panic. The nerves, like most things in the body, can recover if given time and relief from what's harming them. But that recovery must start with knowledge. The danger of vitamin B6 overdose isn't that it strikes suddenly, it's that it creeps in while you're trying to take care of yourself. It walks quietly behind your best intentions. But you can outwalk it if you pause, turn around, and listen to what your body is trying to tell you. 4. Vitamin C. The unexpected link to achy muscles and joints. We often imagine vitamin C as harmless, innocent even. It's the cheerful one, bright orange, sweet in flavor, packaged in fizzy tablets and glowing promises. It's what people reach for when they feel a cold coming on, when they want stronger immunity, or simply when they want to boost their health without risk. After all, it's water-soluble. What your body doesn't use, it just flushes out, they say. But even the safest nutrients can overstay their welcome. And when they do, especially in older adults, the results may be less obvious, but no less real. Vitamin C, or ascorbic acid, is essential for many reasons. It supports the immune system, helps in collagen formation, improves iron absorption, and fights oxidative stress. In moderate amounts from food, fruits, vegetables, even certain greens, it's a beautiful ally. But when taken in large doses as a supplement, especially over long periods, it can cause a different kind of stress. One that doesn't show up in a sniffle, but in aching joints, kidney stones, gut irritation, and surprisingly, weakness in the legs. You see, while the body does excrete excess vitamin C through urine, the journey it takes can be damaging along the way. High doses of vitamin C, especially anything above 1,000 milligrams per day, can increase the risk of oxalate buildup, a compound that can crystallize in the kidneys and joints. In seniors who may already have reduced kidney function or be slightly dehydrated from common medications, this buildup can lead to kidney stones or low-grade inflammation in the body. That inflammation often hides itself not in pain, but in fatigue. Heaviness in the legs, a vague sense of soreness after normal activity, sometimes even stiffness in the knees or ankles that didn't exist before. Most people never suspect it's related to their beloved vitamin C supplement. What's more, high levels of vitamin C can also interact poorly with certain medications, like anticoagulants or drugs for gout, worsening their side effects or reducing their effectiveness. And while vitamin C is famous for helping iron absorption, in excess it can tip the body toward too much stored iron, a risk factor for oxidative stress, especially in older adults. So the question becomes, when does helpful become harmful? The answer lies in intent versus awareness. People don't take 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily because they want to harm themselves. They do it because they believe they're protecting their future. But sometimes, in trying to avoid illness, we forget to listen to the signals already whispering through our body. I once met a woman named Rosa. She was 72, vibrant and lively, with a sharp wit and a warm laugh. She had read online that vitamin C helped with skin aging and immunity, so she began taking high-dose effervescent tablets, 1,000 milligrams each, twice a day, every day for more than a year. She came to see me not for a cold, but because her legs had begun to feel strange. Not weak, exactly. Just tired. More than usual. She would get a dull ache in her knees after walking up a short flight of stairs. At night, her calves sometimes cramped, and her sleep was restless. There was no obvious injury. No arthritis. Her blood work was mostly normal. But her kidneys showed signs of irritation, and she had recently passed a small kidney stone. When I gently asked about supplements, she proudly listed them. That's when the picture became clear. We stopped the high-dose vitamin C, encouraged hydration, adjusted her routine, and within weeks, her legs began to feel lighter. The fatigue eased, the inflammation receded, her sleep returned. The sparkle in her steps came back. She hadn't needed more. She had needed less. And perhaps more importantly, she needed to feel heard. Too often, people her age are told their symptoms are just aging. But aging isn't an explanation, it's a context, and context matters, because your body still responds, it still heals, it still adjusts when we treat it with respect. So if you're taking vitamin C right now, ask yourself, why am I taking it? How much am I really getting? Not just from tablets, but from juice, fortified foods, powders, chewables. The recommended daily amount for seniors is around 75 to 90 milligrams. Even with a small buffer, most people don't need more than 250 milligrams a day, unless advised by a doctor for a specific short-term need. Anything beyond that may be giving you more acid than assistance. Especially if you feel muscle tightness, joint soreness, or have had a history of kidney stones, reconsider whether that extra boost is truly a benefit or an unseen burden. Because in later life, strength is not built by stacking more and more inside the body. It is built by creating balance, by removing the things that quietly interfere with the energy you already have. Before we close, let's pause for a moment, not to worry, but to reflect. Every day, you take small actions to care for yourself. You eat thoughtfully, take your pills, and follow routines that feel safe. But once in a while, it's worth stepping back and asking, are these routines still serving me or silently working against me? Take a moment today to reevaluate what you're putting into your body. Look at your supplements, your habits, even your beliefs. Not with guilt, not with fear, but with wisdom. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Or have I been doing it out of habit or hope or pressure from clever marketing? The truth is, vitamins like E, A, B6, and C, while essential in the right dose, can harm more than help when used without guidance. They can dull your nerves, sap your balance, quietly weaken your legs. Not because your body is aging, but because your choices haven't yet adapted to your stage of life. But there's good news. Once you recognize the risk, you take back the power. So here's what you can do starting today. Review every supplement you take. Not just the obvious ones. Check multivitamins, memory aids, anti-aging blends, anything with a label. Add up your daily intake of key vitamins, especially vitamin E, retinol, a form of A, and B6C. You may be surprised how quickly it adds up. Talk to a doctor who understands older bodies. If you can, speak to a geriatric specialist or functional medicine provider. Bring your list of supplements. Tell them if you felt more tired, more wobbly, or more afraid of falling. Ask for a blood test, not just routine labs, but one that checks actual vitamin levels, especially E, A, B6, and C. These aren't always included by default. You must ask. Focus on real food first. The nutrients from whole foods, vegetables, lean proteins, nuts, seeds, fruits are safer, better balanced, and harder to overdose on. And don't forget one of the most underestimated risks of all, inactivity. Even if your nutrition is perfect, sitting too much can quietly rob you of strength. Long periods without movement shrink the muscles of your legs, weaken your hips, slow your circulation, and make everyday tasks, standing, climbing stairs, even walking across the room, feel harder than they should. You don't need to go to the gym to change that. A short walk around your house, gentle stretches in your chair, standing up every hour. These simple motions are like medicine. In fact, they may be even more powerful than any pill you take. Movement, done consistently, is how you tell your body, I'm still here, I still need you, and I'm not done yet. Because growing older is inevitable, but how you grow older, that's your choice. And it's never too late to make a wiser one. If your legs could talk, they'd thank you for listening today. Because choosing awareness over habit, truth over trend, that's real strength. And strength isn't about resisting age, it's about owning it. So if this video helped you, even just a little, click subscribe, drop a comment, and let us know you're walking this path too. Not just for yourself, but for someone else who may need this message right now. And don't stop here. In the next video, we'll reveal more silent threats and the simple steps to keep your body steady, your mind sharp, and your freedom intact. You're not just aging, you're evolving. And we're right here with you, every powerful step of the way.